Hi, my name is Sarah Smith, and today I'm going to review tube feeding for children with medical needs. There are many reasons a child may require a feeding tube. Below is a list of the most common reasons. The ones that may be most common in the special needs classroom are neurological impairments. You may also see gastrointestinal diseases and respiratory tract diseases. There are three types of feeding tubes that you may come in contact with. The first is the gastric feeding tube, also called the G-tube. This is a tube that is attached to a button that has been implanted into a child's stomach. The child would be fed directly into the stomach. Second is the nasogastric feeding tube, also called the NG tube. This is a tube that is fed through the nose into the stomach. Third is the jejunostomy tube, also called the J-tube. It requires two buttons, one that connects to the stomach and one that connects to the small intestine. When a child requires tube feedings, whether at home or at school, there are several steps that must be followed. First, you should place a pair of gloves on your hands. Second, gather all the supplies you need. Third, you're going to attach the tube to the button and make sure it's secure. Step 4, you're going to clamp the tube closed to prevent air from entering in. Step 5, you're going to attach the syringe without the plunger. Step 6, hold the syringe and tube up vertically and pour some of the formula into the syringe. Refer to the picture on this slide to see the details that I'm discussing. On this slide is the remainder of the steps. So after you've poured in some of the formula, you're going to release the clamp and allow the formula to drain into the tube. As needed, you're going to add more formula until the required feeding is gone. Depending on the child and their parents' request, you may need to flush the tube before removing it. This just means you would run a specific amount of water through the tube before finishing the feeding. When you're finished, you would clamp off the tube and remove the syringe. You remove the tube and close the button. At the end, you're going to rinse the tube and syringe with warm water and dish soap. Make sure you rinse it thoroughly so there's no soap left remaining. The J-tube has an additional requirement when it comes to feeding. There's a second tube that is to be connected to the button that's connected to the duodenum. The tube contains 3 ports. Please ask your parents or school nurse for further training on this. In my school system, teachers receive training first of the school year and whenever a new student moves in and requires tube feeding. A parapro in the classroom may be trained as well so that the teacher isn't the only one aware of how to tube feed. The teacher or other trained paraprofessionals in the classroom are responsible for feeding the child at scheduled times throughout the day as needed. This may require attaching the tube and gravity feeding or hooking up their feeding pump and keeping it running efficiently. The teacher or other trained paraprofessionals in the classroom are responsible for this. Remember, the placement of the nasogastric tube is only to be checked by the school nurse or parent. Also, make sure to follow the specific process that comes along with the J-tube that attaches to the small intestines. As a previous teacher of a student with a G-tube, she required 2 feedings a day. There were no issues with continued instructions because of her required feedings. I simply scheduled breaks for the whole class at the time I knew she needed to eat. Students should be able to function as normal with their required feeding scheduled into the day. I have included a list of parent resources that go along with county or online resources that parents may need more information. These include the nurses page for Houston County School System, parent support, parent resources and foundations, a resource booklet, and programs and supports available. I have also included a list of references for this assignment. They are listed here on this page. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and my video, and please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you again for watching.